Welcome, everybody, to the NFL Weekly Pick'em Show on the Grueling Truth Sports Network. The NFL Weekly Pick'em Show is brought to you by MyBookie.ag. And, you know, anytime we bring up MyBookie.ag, we bring up my co-host and, a big-time gambler. Brian Schmidt. How you doing, Schmitty?
I'm doing great. Being a big-time gambler, I make time for this show so that I can be, I can inform the masses on what to do and, more importantly, what not to do.
Exactly. Now, see, the guy that thought I was going to compliment him as being the big-time gambler comes in last so many times on this show that it's hard to really recommend his betting. So, like now, without any further ado, I want to introduce our biggest loser for last week. He was 10-6, Alex Golden.
Yep, that's me. Don't take my advice on NFL picks, so I'm here to tell you what not to do. So take that and run with it.
All right, and the man who is usually last, Oz Davis.
Yes, I was not last week. I did have a couple of bad calls, though. However, if you had taken my betting advice last week, you would have done well, because my betting advice last week was not to bet the NFL. So you did pretty well if you listened to me. You didn't lose.
So your advice on betting on the NFL was not to bet on the NFL.
Not last week. There was nothing attractive last week.
Well, the best football game of last weekend was the Grey Cup.
That's what I was going to say. The best two games I saw were played in Ottawa, Canada, and Alabama, in fact.
All right. Next up, the biggest winners this week were Brian, myself, and this man. This man's team lost again, but they scored a touchdown this week. Help me welcome 49er fan extraordinaire, Matt Andruscavage.
Hey, glad to be here. Glad to be in the winner's circle.
Well, you're with me and Schmitty, so you don't have much room.
Well, I think I might be in my own circle here, because I think I'm one game up.
I thought me and you were tied with Brian one back, correct, Brian, or not?
No, I think I was up, and you and Brian were tied.
Is that true, Brian? Because I really don't remember.
I thought it was the other way around, but I know too. I'm a game back, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and
I know I'm a game back.
Matt's trying to do something a little shady, as you say.
That's right. That's right.
But that's all right, because that's how Matt is, because he's a 49er fan, and their team was run by the Mafia for years anyways. All right, so the first question is, the NFL this week, we had a girl fight between Michael Crabtree and Aqib Talib. What was your take on it, Schmitty, and what's your take on the suspension?
My personal opinion is they should have to go back out to a field near them and fight again, because that was the worst football fight I've ever seen. That was terrible.
Yeah, that may have just been the worst fight I've ever seen.
Yeah, that was not what you would call a great football fight. But I don't know. I have a really hard time. The suspensions. I mean, you have to look at it two ways: either make them go fight again, or you suspend them, just because that was just so bad. That was just a bad fight. So
yeah, to me,
I don't know.
I mean, Alex is our NBA guy. Alex, that fight reminded me of, I think it was game 4 or 5. I think it was game 5 of the '86 NBA Finals, when Jerry Sheesting and Ralph Sampson went at it.
Sheesting actually down, though.
That precedes me, man. That was way before my time.
Oh, come on. A lot of things precede me, and I know about them.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know who they are, but I don't remember the fight.
That's a pretty deep dive, Mike.
No, it's not. I thought everybody remembered that. Hell, I was in high school then.
Yep.
It's the 86 Celtics. It's the best team ever. Everyone ought to know
The
that.
greatest team ever.
Best team ever. I don't know about that.
Oh, you're an idiot. You're a Laker fan. Be quiet.
That's right. Okay. I will be quiet if that's
All right, Oz, what do you have to say about the fight?
Okay, so this is the worst NFL fight of the year. Not surprising coming from the Raiders and the Broncos, who've been disappointing in just about
It was also one of the worst football games of the year, too.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like, here's two teams that have been, like, boring us, disappointing us, and basically losing us money at the sports book all year. So, not surprising there. What surprises me is, hey, guess what? The NFL is up to their old tricks and seemingly randomly assigning these suspensions. I mean, why do these guys get 2 games when Green and Ramsey are basically like, what are we, just like laughing and petting them on the butt and telling them to go their separate ways? I mean,
well, I think this. Stop right there. This is my point. With Ramsey and Green, it's a first-time offense from guys that, at least with A.J. Green, has never been in trouble. With Talib, there's a history of this.
Yeah.
I mean, Talib took his chain last year. He took his chain this year. I mean, why didn't Talib just, stop taking Crabtree's chains?
It's especially bad for Talib, too, because he's a key player on that Broncos defense who doesn't have, much going for it at this point in the season. And to get himself suspended for 2 games because he can't resist this dude's chain for, I don't know, fetish reasons, is pretty silly. It's pretty silly.
All right, speaking of fetish reasons, Matt Andruscavage, you have a take on this?
Yeah, pretty much. Same thing. Why in the heck? First of all, why is Crabtree wearing the chain? But I don't know
He's
why.
He's baiting him. He was trolling him. He was doing it. He wanted to get, Talib in trouble. He did. He wanted to get, he wanted to.
He didn't know last year that it would get him in trouble.
Well, yeah, but now he does.
Do you think maybe like 3 games ago, Matt, Talib was walking around mumbling himself that he'd really like to have a new chain, and then Crabtree heard about it and wore it out there just to insinuate or just to get the fight going?
Well, I mean, then I heard some. I don't know if it's true that his grandma got it for him. I don't know, but then what was with Marshawn Lynch escorting Talib out of there? I mean, really?
Yeah, I mean that was typical Marshawn Lynch. He just wanted to insert himself into the situation because that's what he's good at. All right, let's go ahead and let's talk about some games for this week. We're going to start off with one of the bigger rivalries in the NFL over the last 40 years. We got the Washington Redskins at the Dallas Cowboys. We're going to start off with Oz Davis. Oz,
we are.
Washington is -1 on mybookie.ag.
Yeah, well, it's only because there's nothing to like about the Dallas Cowboys right now, right? I mean, that's seriously, that's my take on this thing. I mean, here's Washington. They're a middle-of-the-road team on defense in terms of sacks, in terms of tackles for a loss, in terms of turnovers. They're about like ranked 12, 13, 14 in most of these categories, so no big deal there. But I have absolutely no doubt that they're going to dominate this Dallas offense, which just looks terrible. This line can't stop anybody. Dak Prescott can't seem to do anything correct. He's starting to miss guys now, open guys on throws. There's just nothing. There's just nothing to like about Dallas. Washington is wounded, but I'll take them plus the point away. Sure, Washington wins.
Alex.
Okay, well, last week we saw how terrible the Cowboys were, and Tony Romo called that game. How nice do you think Tony Romo felt watching the guy that replaced him having such a terrible time without the great Ezekiel Elliott? So there was even some Romo chants in there in the arena, or in the stadium, excuse me. So it's just interesting because the Cowboys are not good without Elliott, period. And defensively, you guys said Sean Lee last week not being in there was going to be a problem as well. And so, yeah, I mean, Cowboys aren't very good, and the Redskins are a decent football team. So I'm going to pick the Redskins, and I'm going to give the points.
All right, Brian.
I am in agreement with you guys. I am going with the Redskins. I think you can stick a fork in Dallas. I think they're done, and And I think this is a lifeless team as well. I don't know how much they'll win the rest of the year, but I don't think they're going to win this one. So I'll go with the Redskins.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Redskins also. I just think Dallas, I think Jason Garrett is going to be finally gone this year. I know Jerry Jones loves to have a yes man, which is why he's kept an average coach around for so long. But he's going to have to find another average coach that's a yes man, because I think this has played out, Matt Andruscavage.
Yeah, it sure looks that way. You know, you look at – I saw an interesting stat this week that said Dallas is the first team to score less than 10 points over the last 3 games. They've scored, 7, 6, and 9? And the last team to do that is the 2009 Browns. I mean, that's kind of staggering.
That's shocking that the Cleveland Browns would be in something like that.
Anytime you end a stat with Browns, you know
it's
that.
bad.
Yeah, it's not a good thing. So, you know, a part of me wants to believe that Dallas is not this bad, but I think their biggest problem right now may be Sean Lee more than Ezekiel, just because Morris is capable, but I think they've got such a problem on defense. It's just affecting everything. But obviously, Ezekiel Elliott, until they win a game without Elliott, I mean, this is not going away.
Well,
so
I think Matt, that the biggest problem is the defense and the offensive line. Alfred Morris is still a good running back. He's not Ezekiel Elliott. But if the offensive line was doing their job and the defense could get some stops, it would make it a lot easier on Prescott and the rest of the offense.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not real sold on Washington either. I think losing Chris Thompson's a big loss. But is this game in Washington?
No, it's in
This
Dallas.
game's in Dallas.
Oh, it's in Dallas. Part of me wants to pick the Cowboys, but
That's the part I would
just
go
can't.
with if I was you.
No, I'm going to go with Washington to win. I don't like either of these teams right now, but I think Washington will win an ugly game.
All right. Next up, Matt, we'll start off with you since we ended with you. The Detroit Lions at the Baltimore Ravens. This is a game with huge playoff implications.
Yeah, I think the Ravens have been interesting the last couple of weeks. They don't look pretty at all. I thought, Green Bay just looked terrible 2 weeks ago, and Green Bay handed them that game. Last night was a little bit more interesting just because the Texans were able to get a lot of pressure on Flacco. They almost look lifeless at times, but they do have enough, and the defense is good. But I'm going to go with the Lions in this game. I really like the Lions down the stretch here. I think their schedule is very favorable overall. Not that this game's a gimme by any stretch, but I do like the Lions. I think they're going to start to turn it on and make a run at the wild card.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. I think Baltimore – I think the fact that Baltimore, Cincinnati, and Oakland and Buffalo are all four – between the four of them, 2 of them right now are in – I mean, all 4 are contention for playoffs. That'll tell you how bad the AFC is. Brian, Detroit at Baltimore.
I'm going to agree with both of you. I'm going to go with Detroit. I don't know. Baltimore just there are times where you kind of look, well, maybe hey they're going to be a little bit better, and then there are other times they don't. And I do agree. I think Detroit's going to be a factor here at the end of the season.
Yeah, and I think Baltimore may be a factor just because of their defense and their head coach. I think he's one of the best coaches in football. Alex Golden, the Detroit Lions versus the Baltimore Colts. Or Baltimore Ravens. I said the Baltimore Colts. My bad.
How about Baltimore Stallions?
Yeah. Do you know who the Baltimore Stallions are, Alex Golden?
Clearly not.
They won the Grey Cup in 1995.
I don't know much about CFL, but I did promote it on my last podcast, so I'll be sending that to you tonight, Mike. But before I do pick this, I got to ask Schmidt, is Becky listening this week?
Oh, absolutely. Waiting for the Eagles.
All right.
Absolutely.
Well, let's save that one for last. Keep her on longer. But yeah, so This is a tough game for me because Baltimore has won their last two. They're really trying to fight. They're at home. Their defense is looking better. Their offense is terrible. Detroit, they just can't close the gap, it feels like, anytime I want to pick them. So I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to pick Baltimore.
Baltimore? All right.
That's what I said.
Next
not
up.
The Stallions, not the Colts, the Ravens.
Okay. Next up, Oz Davis.
Well, I'm glad somebody picked Baltimore because I'm going with Detroit. Here's the stats to back it up. Aside from being highly ugly this year, the Ravens are 2-4 when scoring 19 or fewer points. Now that's not so surprising, except it's surprising that they've had 6 games where they've scored fewer than 3 touchdowns. They're also last in passing yardage, and the truth is that Detroit has not looked very impressive lately. You know, it's rumored that Stafford has problems with the ankle again. But the truth is that they've managed to score over 23 points all but twice this season. So I think the Lions are going to win this game. They're just going to outscore them. That's it.
All right.
Baltimore offense is terrible.
All right, Oz. We're going to let you start this one out. The San Francisco 49ers at the Chicago Bears. This should be a classic battle. If it was 1985.
You're not going to go to Matt?
Huh?
You're not going to go to Matt on this one first?
No.
It's his team. Oh, okay.
Well,
All right.
I'm trying to cut him a break since his team's so good this year.
Well, I've been burned on this show. I've been burned on the sports book, betting money on the 49ers this season, betting on the 49ers on this show. But the truth is that Chicago has 5 starters gone on this defense.
Oh, here we go.
Last week they had no pass rush. They had 2 special team guys playing in the secondary on passing downs. And for the 49ers, Jimmy Garoppolo is starting this week. I got to go to the 49ers. I'll definitely take the 49ers plus the 3.5 at Chicago. 49ers.
Matt.
I am also taking the Niners. This is a winnable game. These are two teams that are headed towards the top of the draft. There's nothing special going on in either one of these teams, but I like the Jimmy Garoppolo start. I think he adds something new. It was fun to watch him come in for a couple of plays last week. This is not going out on a limb at all. Anything could happen in this game just because both teams are really bad. So I'm going to go with my team this week. Niners in a close game.
Alex Golden.
I'll make it 3 in a row. I'm picking the 49ers.
All right.
Brian Schmidt.
Majority rules, Mike. 3-2. You can't beat it.
I haven't even picked the game yet.
We don't care. We know who you're going to pick.
No, you don't.
Who's going to pick Mitch?
Yeah, Mitch and John Fox.
We've already brought up Mitch and what I think of Mitch. Andy's name. All right, Schmitty.
I am going to go with the majority here, and I am going to pick the 49ers.
All right.
I am loving this.
This is great.
Well, should we just make this a clean sweep?
Oh,
No.
should we?
This would be my one time this year where everyone picks the Niners.
It's the 49ers, yeah.
Huh. Well, on the one
Get
hand,
you ahead, Mike.
the Bears suck. They got Mitch Trubisky, but they also got Jordan Howard who could run wild on you. But they've got
That's
Mitch
all they
Trubisky.
got at this point. That's all they got at this point.
What do the 49ers have at this point?
Jimmy!
A guy who's taken 3 snaps?
Absolutely. Well, he's taking
Kyle
a few more than that
Shanahan.
for the Patriots.
The Bears are missing enough on defense that the running game, Breida and Hyde should be able to get some good yardage, and Niners have enough on the front seven to stop Jordan Howard.
You don't have to convince me. And the thing is this. Both teams are poorly coached, so I'm going to go with Jimmy Garoppolo.
Jimmy.
I'm going to go with the 49ers. The next game, I feel so dirty now. The next game.
This has to be the first time in like 3. Is this the first time since doing the show in the last 3 years that you picked the Niners?
I have no clue.
Why would you ever pick the Niners, Mike, unless they were playing Cleveland? I can't imagine that you ever would.
You just picked them, and you pick them like 5 or 6 times every year, which is why you're so far behind. We don't even bring up how far behind you are. You're like if you're watching the Boston Marathon and there's a guy with no legs in the race, they don't even mention you. The next game, Minnesota at Atlanta. Who hasn't picked first yet here? Alex Golden.
You.
All right. Well, thank you for asking me to go. It feels so great to go first finally and pick a good game. So
that, you know what? That's why I gave you a good game, because if I don't, you bitch and whine like a little girl.
Well, I'm just impressed you're getting my name right still. So, I mean, it's really hard. It's 6 letters. It's Golden. It's really tough, but I'm glad you're learning how to pronounce it.
Alex.
All right, Brian,
Never
you want to pick
die.
this game first?
No, I'm picking right now.
Oh, are you gonna pick? I thought you were just gonna sit there and
well,
talk.
You're too busy talking. So
I haven't said anything. I said Minnesota at Atlanta, and you talk about your name because you want everybody to know your name. I mean, you're like Norm on Cheers. I mean, I think every time it's ready for you to pick, we're just all gonna scream your name. Gordon,
can I pick now? Are you still talking?
I'm waiting on you.
All right. Well, here you go. The Atlanta Falcons will win this game. The Atlanta Falcons have a very tough schedule to end the season. They play the Saints twice. They play the Panthers again. And they got Minnesota. I forget who else they play. I think it's Tampa Bay. So a lot of division games. But I think this is the game that Atlanta pulls out. Atlanta looks hot again. And Julio Jones came back to life last week with over 200 yards.
Yeah.
This team right here, Hot Atlanta, is back. I'm picking the Falcons.
All right, Matt.
I was hoping to go last, but all right, I will pick. I'm going to have to go with Minnesota in this game. I'm really torn.
From now on, we'll just have everybody
torn.
scream out their pick at one time so nobody gets butthurt about when they pick.
Wait, can I get in for
butthurt
just
here.
a second?
Just very torn.
If you be quiet, we'll let you go next, Oz.
Oh, I just wanted to get this in real quick, Matt. Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
Hell, that's what he
I'm
told
torn
his
on
wife.
this game, but...
Hey, that's what he told his wife on the honeymoon.
I like Atlanta, but it's hard for me to see them winning this game for some reason. I don't know. I just think Minnesota is. They just find ways to grind out victories, and I just don't know that Atlanta is going to be able to duplicate. I think they're going to come off a pretty good high from last week. Julio Jones is not going to get 200 yards against Xavier Rhodes in that defense.
I don't know.
All right.
I like Julio Jones, but I'm going to go with Minnesota.
All right, Brian.
I'm going to go with Atlanta. I think Atlanta's starting to play better. I don't know. Minnesota. I like Minnesota, but I think Atlanta's starting to get it turned around. I kind of like them in this game. I think they're going to win this game. I think they're going to they're going to play well down the stretch.
All right. So this is the first game in like the last 20 we picked. We disagreed, Matt. That's the three of us.
You're right.
But I am going to continue my streak by agreeing with Brian Schmidt about the Atlanta Falcons to win this game. Oz?
Oh, yeah, I definitely want in on this. Here we go. Ready? After week 11, the Falcons were 6-4. Last year, they were 6-4. Now they're 7-4. Last year, they were 7-4. Okay? The Vikings defense is pretty good, yes, but right now their 3 top quarterbacks are either out or hurt in this game. Okay, Julio Jones.
Julio
Like
Jones.
Mike saying my last name.
Yeah.
It does.
Golden Jones
Julio.
Smith. Last week was Superman, or Bruce Kent, as we call him in the comic books.
You mean
last
Clark
week.
Kent?
So no, Bruce Kent. He's like Julio Jones, you know. So in any case,
Bruce Jenner or Bruce Wayne?
I think
Caitlyn Jenner.
Bruce Jenner. I like that. Caitlyn Wayne.
Who's Bruce Jenner?
Who's Bruce Jenner? No more. I think Matt Ryan's going to rip it up. I think Atlanta's going to win this game.
That's kind of what
Matty
Bruce
Ice
Jenner
is
wants
back.
to do, right?
Sort of. Oh, and by the way, Atlanta's won 4 out of 5.
All right.
Sure.
So who you picking, Oz? Atlanta?
Yeah. I'll take Atlanta.
All right, the next
Hey,
game.
Mike.
Yeah.
Mike,
Yeah.
you got to get Becky's pick.
How about it?
What's Becky's pick?
Come on, Schmitty, what's she picking?
She's going against.
I don't know, but when we get the Eagles, I know she's picking Eagles. So Becky's pick. If she's picking Atlanta because I picked Atlanta.
Oh,
There we go.
isn't
This
that
is so sweet.
She's picking the Eagles? Really?
Wrong with
You guys
picking-
poke each other on Facebook?
Ooh.
What's that?
Are you talking about Oz and Brian or Becky and Brian?
Becky and Brian, is that how you met her? Did you poke her on Facebook?
No. Met her in Texas.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
This is nice. We need to have more conversations about Schmitty and Becky.
yeah.
More
We need to have Becky as the guest picker next week.
Get on
we
it,
can probably
Schmitty.
make that happen.
There you
I'll
go.
I'll make it happen.
So, Becky, if you're
All right.
listening, you're welcome next week. You could come on the show.
absolutely.
Maybe we'll just have her replace Alex.
Hey, I'll listen in. Week 14, that's great. Valentine's Day is on the 14th every year. This will be perfect.
Oh, shit.
How about whoever loses gets replaced? There you go.
What if it's Mike Goodpaster?
I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
When's the
guys.
last time Mike Goodpaster came in last?
I'll see you in a
This week's
couple
the first time in a long time. It's happening. Mark my words.
All right, the next game. I'm dedicating this pick to Becky. I'm picking New England at Buffalo, and I'm picking New England. Oz.
Can we just do the thing where we go?
All
is
right,
anybody-
on the count of
Buffalo?
3. 1, 2, 3.
Patriots.
Patriots.
New England.
Patriots.
New England.
Alex didn't understand the
Patriots.
counting thing. Alex, you got New England?
No, I just wanted to make sure that everybody heard me loud and clear so I didn't get put down for the Bills.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean,
gotta-
Like,
this,
well, I had you
this
for
is-
Buffalo, Alex. That's why,
How about
I
this?
beat you by 1 week.
You remember 2 weeks ago, and this is the thing, guys. Oz wasn't on the show last week, so he didn't have to defend his pick of the Tennessee Titans to beat Pittsburgh 2 weeks ago when they got
Yeah.
beat 40-17.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I
great
think
pick,
Brian,
Oz.
Brian told
It
me that when that pick was made, Becky texted him, "Who's that dumbass?"
Oh, come on. I assume that Becky has a wider vocabulary and is more eloquent than, say, Mike Goodpaster.
Oh, dude, she hangs out with Schmitty. Brian, you want to pick? Denver at Miami.
I'm gonna go with begrudgingly Miami.
These are 2 teams that
I
can
think-
lose to the Browns right now, Schmitty.
Yes, they are, and this is a hard game. So I'm gonna take Miami in this one, but boy, this is a shitty game.
All right. Alex.
Yeah, might as well. You already started it, so. There's a lot of good games this week, and it just sucks this one's on the schedule. I mean, Miami should just take their bye week this week for all they care about. But yeah, you know what? I'm going to pick Miami to win this 6-3. But if there was an option for a tie, I'd pick a tie.
There is, because there's been at least twice in this show's history where a certain person picked a tie.
Well, and we see what that certain person has done overall record-wise. So
All right.
I'll just stick with the Dolphins.
Speaking of that person, Oz Davis, do you want to go with Denver or Miami?
Well, I mean, look. Somebody scored a couple of times for Denver last week, right? I mean, is Miami defense really as bad as Oakland's defense? Denver's got to be able to score a few times, right? I'll take Denver. But Alex is onto something, and you definitely got to take the under. Whatever it is, if it's like 38, take the under. Take the under.
All right. I was thinking about picking Denver, but since Oz did, I'm going to go with Miami.
Yeah.
Matt?
Go Miami.
Yeah, I was kind of worried about that too, but I'm gonna go with Denver. I think they have the number 3 defense. Although I know Talib is out.
Yeah, no Talib.
I forgot Talib was out. All right, I'm gonna change my pick. I'm gonna go to Miami.
You can't. I wrote it down in ink.
Oh,
You can change it. It's not too late.
I thought I was going to have a
over.
2-game lead after this week. You broke my heart there. All right.
Yeah, sorry. I'm going to go with Miami. I forgot Talib was out.
The next game, we got the Houston Texans at the Tennessee Titans. I'll start it off. I'm going to go with the Titans, even though they've played so poorly. They almost lost to the freaking Colts, Alex. Well, who are you picking?
Yeah, the Colts literally gave that game away when Marlon Mack fumbled the ball at the 4-yard line. But, yeah, I mean, Tennessee's still on top of the division. I think they have to, just try to win out and hope Jacksonville loses along the way. So, yeah, Houston's awful, too. I mean, no quarterback, Tom Savage. They should be having Colin Kaepernick as their quarterback. But that being said, we'll go with the Titans.
Actually, Mike Riley should be their quarterback, or Bo Levi Mitchell.
Yeah, how about it? Absolutely. I'm down.
All right, Schmitty, Houston at Tennessee.
I'm going to go with Tennessee. This is kind of a hard game for me to pick because I really picking Tennessee has never been good for me, and I'm afraid they're going to screw me over on this one. But I can't pick the Titans just with everything going on. I just don't think they're good enough. So I'll go with it. I'll roll with it.
All right, Alex, you picked Tennessee too, right?
Yeah, I did. But I think the reason that Schmidt has a hard time picking against Houston is because Texas is close to his heart.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
All right, Matt Andruscavage.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Tennessee as well. I think they've got a good enough defense to keep Houston from scoring a lot of points, and they got enough on offense to win this game, and they're at home.
All right, the next game, Alex Golden's Indianapolis Colts, who are on a hot streak of playing 3 quarters very well every game for like 5 consecutive games, will be at the Jacksonville Jaguars, Schmitty.
Oh, man. I was hoping you weren't going to pick me first.
There,
I had
I'll
to
give
get
you
that
some
in.
insight.
I had to say that because everybody else has. So
Said
Yeah, you
what?
gotta
I get it now.
Ryan Kelly will probably be out this week with a concussion, just so you know.
Who was that? Ryan
The
Kelly?
center, Ryan Kelly.
Oh.
So their offensive line is going to be even worse. They gave up
I
like
thought it was
10
already the
tackles.
worst.
That's what I'm saying. It's worse than the worst.
I'm gonna go with the begrudgingly. I'm gonna go with the Jaguars. I mean, tough game to pick, but I'll go with the Jaguars.
I hope you're kidding, but I'm going to assume you're being
Yeah, I'm
sarcastic.
I'm like, really?
I'm being sarcastic.
All right, I know. I'm going to go with the Jaguars too. Oz, you want to pick the upset?
Well,
Come on, do it for me.
nah, I'm taking the Jaguars. I mean, the interesting thing is that the line on this game is 9.5, and you just can't imagine the Jaguars beating anyone with this offense by 10 points. I mean, the Jaguars' offense is just brutal, and yet they're favored by almost 10 points. That's how bad Indianapolis is. But yeah, I got to go with Jacksonville to win, and I'd stay away from the points.
All right, Alex.
Well, Oz, let me just tell you this. The Jaguars have won by 10 points this year, and they beat the Colts by 27 in Indianapolis.
27-0, wasn't it?
Yes, 27-0.
That's
And
right.
Blake Bortles threw for 330 yards. I'm telling you what.
Yes,
Blake
but
Bortles
can
hasn't
you
thrown for
make him
300
look
yards
that
this
good
season
again?
except that game.
Can they make him look
I mean-
that good again?
Yeah, they're playing in Jacksonville, and the Colts have been terrible in Jacksonville the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a Colts fan, but I'll tell you what, after losing last week to Arizona for the Jaguars, they're going to be coming out hot, especially since they've got to get that division lead back from Tennessee. And so, you know what? I'm picking them to win it, but I mean the Jaguars, it is, because the Colts have no chance. Sorry.
Would you take the Jags minus 9.5?
Yes, I would. Have you seen the Colts play?
So would I.
Oh, sure, of course. But this,
I would too.
The Colts will probably be up after the third quarter by 10 points, and they'll lose by 2 touchdowns.
Okay. All right.
Trust me, I watch enough.
Matt Andruscavage.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Jacksonville, too, to win big. I think the Colts are going to have a hard time getting any points on the board, and Jacksonville's offense should do rather well. So Jacksonville, but big.
All right. Oz, did I ask you about this game?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so real quick, we're going to take a break and listen to a word from our sponsor, mybookie.ag.
Hey, Puckheads, this is Patrick.
And Jason.
From the Puck Guys podcast at the Grueling Truth Network, and we're here with one simple message. If you're watching the games, it's time to start making money.
The Grueling Truth has partnered with mybookie.ag, an industry-leading sportsbook website who reminds you that where you bet is just as important as who you're betting on. And that's why the Grueling Truth urges you to check out mybookie.ag.
In addition to the usual thousands of odds, money lines, proposition bets, and futures offered on mybookie.ag daily, they also have in-game live betting and a mobile site that makes wagering on the go easier than ever. So join now, and mybookie.ag will give you a 50% bonus on your first deposit of up to $3,000 in extra cash. Just enter the promo code TGT50. That's TGT50 to take advantage of this offer. Where do they got to go, Jay?
That is a smart-looking question, Pat. They need to go to visitmybookie.ag, courtesy of the Grueling Truth Network, and enjoy your winning today.
Mybookie.ag. You play, you win, you get paid.
All right, guys, we're back on the NFL Weekly Pick'em Show on the Grueling Truth Sports Network with myself, Mike Goodpaster, Alex Gordon, Matt Andruscavage, Oz Davis, and Brian Schmidt. The first game we're going to pick, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Green Bay Packers. Alex?
I know that was unintentional, and you're trying to play it off like it was intentional.
Yeah. So go ahead, Mr. Gordon. Let us know who you're picking.
Who was the game again? I was so distracted I forget what the game was now.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the Green Bay Gordons.
Green Bay Gordons. What
Packers.
is that? Packers. Oh, my gosh.
They played
This is a
against the Pottsville Maroons in the 1927 championship.
Well, Mike, this game doesn't really matter to anybody, so we'll just pick the Packers. And yeah, if you want me to be quiet, I'll just not talk the rest of the show.
Oz Davis.
Okay. Now you've lost me as well. This is the Tampa Bay Green Bay game we're talking, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm ready. So I cannot think of any good reason to take Green Bay at all in this game other than they play with pluck. And the weather is going to be not so serious. I'll take the Buccaneers, and I'll keep betting against Green Bay until Aaron Rodgers comes back.
All right. Matt.
I got a feeling Green Bay is going to probably find a way to win this game. I'm not really sure how much Tampa's got going for them, just because I think Doug Martin got hurt. I think Fitzpatrick is struggling. It hurts Mike Evans a lot. I'm not sure how well Evans and Deshaun Jackson are going to be able to play if Fitzpatrick can't get him the ball. I do think Green Bay still has major problems on defense, but they had an inspired performance against Pittsburgh, and I'm sure Schmidt will elaborate. I mean, I thought Green Bay had a real shot to win there at the end, but it didn't happen because Mike McCarthy's terrible. But I think at home Green Bay probably finds a way to win this game.
All right. I'm going to go with Green Bay, too. I like Brett Hundley. I know everybody else trashes him all the time. I'm the one that don't. I like him. The jury's still out on him, but Tampa Bay hasn't played that well this year. Brian?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Green Bay as well. I think against Pittsburgh, they played really well. Now, granted, there were some stretches in that game where Pittsburgh just played god-awful on defense, but I thought overall, Hundley played well. They played well offensively. They played well early defensively, and then Pittsburgh kind of got it going. But I don't think Tampa Bay is anywhere near as good a team as Pittsburgh, and I think that the Packers at home playing well, and really still trying to get in that playoff hunt. I think they'll win this game.
All right. Next up, Kansas City at the Jets. Matt. Wait a second, Brian. You pick Green Bay, right?
Yes.
All right. Go ahead, Matt.
Kansas City at the Jets. Oh, boy. Kansas City looks really bad. Not sure what's going on with them right now, but it's really hard to pick the Jets over them. I do think the Jets are going to give them a lot of problems. Robbie Anderson and Jermaine Kearse seem to be playing really well at wide receiver. McCown's pretty good, but at some point, you got to believe Kansas City's going to win one of these games. I guess I'm going to have to take Kansas City, but boy, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if the Jets won.
All right. Next up, Oz.
Jets +3 at home. Alex Smith is Alex Smith. BETS. Bets. I'll take the Jets +3. I'll take the Jets to win.
Brian.
I'm going to take the Jets. The way Kansas City's playing right now, I'm not sure they could beat Air right now. They're just looking horrible. I'm going to take the Jets.
Next up, let's see. Who the hell am I going to take in this game? This is my problem because I was doing the NFL prediction article that basically put a crystal ball and showed the rest of the season today. And this was a game I had a hard time with because the Jets haven't won in a while. They still have played well, and it's just been kind of a mess with them. But Kansas City's totally went in the tank. My question to you, I'm going to go with Brian on this. Do you think Patrick Mahomes is going to take this job with another loss or two?
That's possible.
I would not be surprised. At this point, you almost have to consider it just how bad everything has been. You've got to consider it at this point. You've got to start looking at making changes because pretty quickly here, your playoffs are done. If you keep losing, it's done. So they've got to consider it because right now, I think there's a lot of confidence that has gone down the tank with Alex Smith, the quarterback, which it's really funny, just how well he played early on and just how badly he's playing right now.
But Coach Goodpaster, what about Andy Reid? This team started 5-0. They might end up 8-8. Does Reid go?
I don't think Reid's going anywhere. They've been in the playoffs every year there. And my question
they might not this year.
Well, they may not this year, but every other year they have. And I think that management, the question is, who wanted to pick Patrick Mahomes? Was it Andy Reid, or was it the GM and the owner? If it's the GM and the owner and it wasn't Reid, Reid might be gone. But I think, Oz, that the fact that Reid is still I think it was a Reid pick. I think Reid is a good enough coach to realize that he's never going to win a Super Bowl with Alex Smith. And I think that he's trying to get Mahomes ready. And I don't think he's going to rush him in this year because I don't think he thinks that he can win a Super Bowl with either guy right now. And if he takes his time with Mahomes, maybe in a couple years he can.
Well, the Chargers are coming on, and Smith isn't getting it done. You know, Smith hasn't been good since week 6. You know, and the Chargers are going to win this division. I mean, you implied it before. San Diego Chargers, that is. I mean, you think they're going to win the West. I do too at this point. So don't you think you make the change, roll the dice?
I don't know because I'm not around Patrick Mahomes every day during practice.
Yeah.
I'll go with what Andy Reid says there. The guy's a good football coach. He's kind of like a better version of Marvin Lewis. He gets to the playoffs, wins one game, and then loses. I still got to pick this game, and the reason I gave you that question was so to give me longer to pick it. I'm going to go with the Jets, I guess. I'm not real convinced on this. I think it's kind of a toss-up. But, all right, Alex, Jets and Chiefs.
Well, just like you got my name wrong on the introductions back to the show, you got this pick wrong. The Chiefs are going to snap out of it and win.
Well, the fact that you're consistently hanging down there with Oz makes me not worry about what you think about the pick.
That wasn't
I'm kind of worried about my pick
now. I
now.
was tied for first.
You hear that? Now Matt's worried about his pick. So, Bob, you screwed Matt over.
Bob, that's out of left field.
What are you talking about? Out of left field. I want to bring that up. We had a new episode of Out of Left Field that came out this morning. Make sure you check it out.
Awesome
They look at
segue.
That was awesome. Thanks, Alex. But make
Well,
sure you don't
I'm the
miss it.
setup guy for the show.
Yeah, he's the setup. Oz is the closer. But make sure you check out of Left Field. They looked at the suspensions that were handed down with the Atlanta Braves. This is the first time the show's been back since the end of the baseball season, the World Series. So make sure you check out on thegruelingtruth.net. The next game, Brian, Carolina at New Orleans.
Oh man, it's at New Orleans. I'm going with New Orleans. They'll bounce back from last week. I think Carolina's playing really well. I think it's going to be a good game. But in New Orleans, New Orleans has shown to be a different team. So I'm going to go with New Orleans.
All right, Alex.
Yeah, this is going to be a really tough game, and I'm going to have to lean with the Saints as well. But man, Luke Kuechly has looked amazing this year for the Panthers.
All right, Oz.
Yeah, it looked good with that touchdown return on in the last game. I cannot get a bead on the Saints this year at all. I've made some infamously bad predictions regarding them this year on this show. So I have decided that I am going to do the opposite of whatever Mike says.
I haven't picked the game yet, Oz.
I don't care. I'm doing the opposite of whatever you say.
Okay, well, you still got to pick the game.
The opposite of what you say. It's Schrodinger's pick. You
All right,
don't
so
know what the answer is until you
Oz
observe
is going to pass. Matt?
Okay, I'll take the Panthers, okay, because I know you're going to go with the Saints anyway. So I was going to go with the opposite of whatever you go with. I'm going with the Panthers.
Matt?
Panthers.
Matt?
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know if it was my turn. Yeah, I got to go with the Saints at home. I don't think. I think it's the same old thing. I don't think Cam's playing all that well. He can get rattled, especially in the dome. I do like what Christian McCaffrey's doing, and the Carolina defense looks pretty good. But boy, I just don't think Cam is. He's just way too up and way too down.
Yeah, but he's had a lot of big games there over the last few years, Matt.
Few years? Yeah.
Yeah.
Had a lot of bad games over the last few years too.
Good point, Matt. So I'm going to pick the Saints also. It's the opposite of what Oz picked, but
right.
I don't want to come in last and then fall behind Matt and Brian. All right, the next game. First up, Alex Golden. Game of the week. The Cleveland Browns at the San Diego Chargers.
Well, I'm glad you let me lead with this game because I picked against the Chargers last week, but I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to let everybody know that you heard it here first from me. The Chargers are going to win the division.
Can we do the all together now again?
Yes, we can. Does anybody want the Browns? All
Come
right.
on, Mike.
What? I don't pick the Browns. I pick the other team with the orange helmet that wins multiple games every year, unlike the 49ers and the Browns. The next game. Of course, I picked them to win multiple games this year now because I picked them this week. So the Niners may get to 2. The next game. The Los Angeles Rams at the Arizona Cardinals. Oz Davis.
Yes. Well, I figured for weeks that the Rams were going to win this game. As long as the Rams just, keep the throttle down on the offense and the defense, there are few teams in the NFL that can stop them right now. And I'm not just saying this as a fanboy. I mean, I was blown away that they picked the Saints. I was not on the show last week, but Mike can attest to the fact I picked the Saints against the Rams last week. Wow. Super impressive win last week. I'm definitely taking the Rams here. I'll take them minus the 7 at the sportsbook. Absolutely. Rams look great. God, I love watching these Rams.
Yeah, well, you did. You were the one that said they would be one of the worst teams in football this year.
I didn't say they were going to be one of the worst teams in football this year.
You did.
Come on. No.
You mocked me when I said they were going to win the division.
I don't know if I mocked you, Mike.
I'll go back
I
and go
probably
through the films.
said really. That's probably what I did. That's more in character, isn't it?
Well, that's mocking when you say, really?
No, it isn't. It's me really being shocked.
All right. Brian.
I am going with the Rams. Not even really a thought to me. They're playing so well right now. Arizona, been playing, considering their quarterback situation, has actually played pretty well. But Rams are just the Rams. They're fun to watch, winning games. So I'm gonna go with them.
All right, I'm gonna go with the Rams, of course, because I think I did last pick. Matt Andruscavage.
Yeah, Rams. I think the Cardinals, given their circumstances, have played pretty admirably, but Rams are going to be too much for them, especially with Blaine Gabbert at quarterback for the Cardinals.
All right, Alex Golden.
Yeah, I just want to say one thing real quick about the Rams. Last week's one was good, and I think that definitely solidifies that they are, turning into something better than just a playoff team. Like, they have a legit chance of, making it past the first round. But the teams they beat are not very good this year. I think their best win before that game was against the Cowboys or the Jaguars. They're just not playing a lot of great teams.
Well, yeah, they've beaten one team, I think, with a winning record.
Yeah, so
Hey, in their defense,
the record
though,
is
Alex, there's not that many teams with winning records in the NFL.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But still, these teams that they're beating are not, jumping off the paper. Like, you got the Giants, you got the Colts, you've got the Cardinals without David Johnson and Carson Palmer, 49ers twice.
Well, look,
they haven't played them twice.
Alex,
once, but still.
This is the consequence of having finished in third place the previous year and having a team that's coming up rather than going down. You know what I'm saying? So you're beating other teams that were in your position last year that aren't improving. Like Indianapolis is a fantastic example of this. I don't think they got them because of the third place finish, but that's a good example of this, is that here's a team on the way down this year versus, the Rams.
Right.
Next year we'll see. They're benefiting from an easy schedule, but the win against the Saints is a quality win. If they can beat the Seahawks, that's a quality win, especially since they lost them earlier this year. They don't have many quality wins this season, but they do have at least one last week.
Yeah, no, and I understand what you're saying. I haven't made my pick yet. I'm sorry. I was just throwing that out there because this is their biggest win they've had. And so, in my opinion, I feel like the Cardinals could be a trap game for them, who also just got a big win. I know it was against the Jaguars, but still, that was a big win for the Cardinals because they haven't been playing great. So I'm going to pick the Rams just because I think they're better, but I would definitely give the points. I think it's going to be very close. I think it's going to be a 3-point game.
All right, next up, Matt Andruscavage, we've got the New York Football Giants at the Oakland Raiders.
Well, the news coming out that Geno Smith is going to start for the Giants was a surprise to me.
Really?
Wow.
Hey,
I dream of Geno.
Is that their head coach, Ben McAdoo, or Bob McAdoo, or what the hell is that him standing up yelling, "Fire me, fire me"?
I'm stunned. I guess they gave Eli the opportunity to start. They asked him if he wanted to start, and he just said, "No, go ahead and you guys are leaning towards the young guys. Go lean to the young guys. That's just going to tarnish my streak if I trot out there to start. Kind of like Favre always did." But he's. And I don't know exactly what to make of this, but Geno Smith, I just don't see how the Giants even have a chance in this game. But then, not that the Raiders are playing great, but you got to believe the Raiders are going to win this game. I just don't think the Giants are good at all.
How about this, Matt? What about Eli Manning reuniting with Tom Coughlin, and then the Jaguars have a legit quarterback?
Why? That's very possible. It makes good sense. I think the Jaguars are literally, they get anything at quarterback, and that's really where I think Aaron Rodgers should go. He should opt out and go play there.
that would be
roster,
awesome.
I think they could win.
I'm
telling you, that would be the place for him to go. You opt out, and they could pay him $200 million, some odd dollars. Why go play for that roster when you could go to a real roster and go win something?
The Jaguars feels like the Texans did going into this year. They feel like the whole team is ready, waiting for the quarterback. Right, exactly. The whole team is there. They just need that one piece, which happens to be the most important piece. And then they're good. So, yeah, I like the sound of it.
Oz, go ahead and pick the game.
I thought I had.
Oh, did you? I thought only Matt had.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Giants at Oakland. Okay, we're already on to this one. Yeah, I already marked down Oakland, but now with the news of Geno Smith, I'm even more stoked. Come on, this is a West Coast game, and this is in the late slot. Yeah, despite Del Rio, I'll take the Raiders.
All right, Alex?
Yeah, no, it doesn't even make sense to me why the Giants are making this quarterback change. Even if they did ask Eli, it's not like they're playing someone that's like a promising quarterback that they're looking forward to seeing what he can do. Like it's Geno Smith. We've seen what Geno can do. He's terrible. And if you watch that interview with Eli Manning, I've never seen someone have more cry face in my life than Eli Manning about his starting streak ending. So it's just a weird thing going on in New York, and it's really sad for a guy like Eli who's given his whole career to that team and that franchise to be kind of put in that position to make that decision anyway. So it's just a mess down there. So I'm gonna pick the Raiders for sure. All
right, Schmitty.
Oh, this isn't even another one. It's not even a thought. This is Raiders. If Eli was playing, I could almost make an argument for the Giants just because the Raiders, I believe, with Crabtree's suspension, and also I believe they have an injury. I think they're down 2 receivers.
Yeah.
So if Eli Manning was playing in this game, I almost would think about it. But Geno Smith, they could have signed me or you and had a better chance to win this game. So I'll go with Raiders.
If they'd have signed me, yeah. If they'd have signed you, I'm not sure. It looked like a rag arm in Owensboro, Schmitty.
I can still get it to my fullback out in the flat, and I can still throw a hitch. So Geno Smith can't even do that. So
yeah, all right. I'm gonna let that go for now. Yes, Becky, Brian was an All-American.
Wink, wink.
An All-American. What?
I wasn't going to finish that
Mike?
statement. What was that, Matt?
What was your pick? Are you picking the Raiders?
I'm not even going to pick the game. It's stupid. I'm going to pick the Raiders also. But there's not too many teams I would pick the Raiders to beat right now, but this is one that I will. All right, next up, the Philadelphia Eagles at Seattle. Seattle is actually a 6-point underdog at home. I'll pick it first. I'm going with Philadelphia. Brian?
First of all, I would like to, in honor of Becky, I would like to call all Philadelphia Eagles games the Becky pick of the week. And
Oh my God!
no,
My
I'm going to go with
Becky.ag.
you.
You got her name wrong, Alex.
No, I didn't.
Well, you got the bookie part wrong.
This is a joke from last week. Come on.
You're
now.
making a
I
joke.
didn't
Yeah, you
say
took
that
my
last
joke from last week.
Yeah,
just
I mean,
adding
you
on
didn't
to
take
don't
Matt's
forget.
joke. He copyrighted that.
I didn't. No, I didn't take it. I just reminded him.
Oh, okay.
The Philadelphia Eagles games are brought to you now by mybecky.ag.
That's right.
All right.
It's our sponsor.
Brian,
There we go. I'm going with the Eagles.
are you allowed to pick for them, or do you have to? Are you ever allowed to pick against them?
Oh, I could pick against them. I would never hear the end of it if they were to win the game I picked against them. So
I'm betting that you would never hear the end of it, whether they won or lost.
Oh, I can't wait until the Eagles Patriots Super Bowl. That's going to be interesting.
You mean the Eagles Steelers?
Where we're all in a
Oh, yeah.
three-way tie for. Oh yeah, the Eagles Steelers Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, right. Yeah, it was
Battle
great.
of Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
That'll break up homes, all the inbreeding in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, all put together at once.
Listen to this. Is this the kettle calling the pot black, Mr. Indiana?
I'm from Indiana. Indiana's in the
Yeah,
clear.
that's what I'm
That's
saying.
Kentucky, West
Oh.
Virginia, Pennsylvania,
Oh, I see.
and parts of Alaska where it's dark all winter long.
Don't forget northern Wisconsin.
Yeah, Green Bay specifically. All right, Oz.
Oh, man. Okay. I was hoping I was going to get to go last on this one. Well, because I knew Becky was going to pick for the Eagles, I tried to look for reasons to pick the Seahawks, but it's tough. The Seahawks are just 1-2 this season against teams that are probably going to make the playoffs. They have been averaging about 26 points, over 26 points actually, since the bye, the last 5 or 6 weeks. But they haven't played anything like this defense recently. I mean, the only arguments for Seattle here are the home field advantage and the West Coast time zone. All right, I guess I'm going to go with the Eagles, but I'll take the Seahawks plus the 6 at the book. But I'll take the Eagles. I don't like it, but I'll take the Eagles. I wish the Seahawks would win this game. No,
All right.
You know what? I'll take the Seahawks. I'll take them. What
You're
the
taking the
heck? I'm
Seahawks.
losing.
Oz is taking
Yeah,
the
sure.
Seahawks.
I'm losing.
My booking.ag
why
is
would
going to be
you-
pissed.
I'll take the Seahawks. What the hell?
Why do you want the Seahawks to win? I mean, your Rams are on the
Why do I
verge
want
of.
the Seahawks to win? Because I got a $10 bet on them to win the Super Bowl this year. Or
Hey.
win the NFC this year.
Hey, I would like to say this. On Spreaker Chat, we have a message from Becky. She says the Eagles would beat the Steelers in the Super Bowl. We already talked about this. I think
Yes,
she's
but
talking
what-
to you, Brian.
But would they be?
Yeah, we have had this conversation, and I've told her she's out of her damn mind.
All right, let me
but-
bring this up. The closest thing we had to compare this to is last year. The Eagles played the Steelers in week 5. What happened in that game, Brian?
Yeah, that was week 5, though. Different circumstances, because by the end of the year, Pittsburgh would have easily beaten the Eagles. Look, I'm giving her the Eagles in most of these games because I believe the Eagles are good, and I'm trying to be a nice guy. But if you put them against the Steelers, they're never going to win. It's never going to happen, and her and I will make bets on it, and I will win.
Well, I would like to say this. I think the bet should be that if the Steelers lose to the Eagles, she gets to wipe her ass on your terrible towel.
Whoa.
Wow, that's never happened.
But it's because you ain't ever been to my house.
Oh.
All right, Alex.
Yeah, so what do we got so far picks-wise? I'm so confused. Who's
We
picked
got
what?
Philadelphia at Seattle. Me and Brian are with Philadelphia. Oz is with Seattle.
And Matt hasn't picked yet either?
No.
Well, you know how you were talking about that Pennsylvania inbreeding? It's legal in 25 states. to marry your first cousin, but Pennsylvania and Indiana are not one of them. Just so you know, I was doing some research.
Well,
for
I
you.
apologize to everybody in Pennsylvania except for people in Pittsburgh.
Well, I don't know why this, but no, this game, it's really going to be a tough one. Honestly, I think that Philadelphia is the better team. I think Seattle at home is really good. I mean, my head's saying Philadelphia, my heart's saying Seattle because I think Seattle's going to win the division. I think this is a big win for them to keep going forward. Wow. So I'm going to pick the Seahawks. I'm going to take my gut here and go with Russell Wilson and Seattle to end the Philadelphia winning streak, and make sure that they let the Rams know that their schedule's soft and they're coming for that division title.
All right, next up, Matt Andruscavage. And Matt, I knew you wanted to go last on this game, so that's why I saved you for last.
Yes, it's a really hard game to pick. I just don't think Seattle's the same. They don't have a run game. I think their offensive line still has problems. Missing Cam Chancellor and Richard Sherman for the year is definitely going to hurt them on the back end. Philly's just too strong all over the place. I just don't see really how they lose this game. And I don't think Seattle's going to win the division. I think they've got a hard schedule coming up. They've got Jacksonville. They've got the Rams, and they've got if Dallas does squeak out a couple of wins, that's the first game back when they get Ezekiel Elliott. That could be a real difficult game in Dallas. I just don't see Seattle win this division, and I think it starts this Sunday when they lose to Philly.
All right, the next game, probably the biggest game of this century, the Monday Night Football, Pittsburgh Steelers at the Cincinnati Bengals. Brian Schmidt, I'll let you go first.
Oh, this is pretty easy.
Who are you going to take?
Steelers. I mean, how can I go against anybody else? I mean, first of all, it's the Bengals, and we understand what they are. And there really should be only one person here that will take the Bengals, unless the rest of you are messed up in the head as the person who takes the Bengals. So you
think Oz is taking the Bengals?
No. No, I'm not that messed up.
You picked the Browns 3 times last year, Oz. The 3 times they didn't win that one game.
I think it was more than 3 times. Actually.
Yeah, I know, but I was trying to make you sound not so stupid.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with Steelers. I would love to hear who's picking next because, I'm just waiting for somebody to say the Bengals.
All right, Alex Golden, be a man.
Well, who in the world is making this Monday Night Football schedule besides a couple weeks ago when the Falcons and the Seahawks played a good game? Most of these games have been crap. I mean, you got Miami on there versus the Panthers, Texans at Baltimore, Denver, Kansas City. The Colts at the Titans. All these games are just garbage. And it's going to follow this week, too. I mean, you put a crap team like Cincinnati on Monday Night Football. I mean, what's it going to take? 2 quarters before Burfict gets ejected? I mean, this is a joke. Pittsburgh's going to win this easy.
All right. Oz.
Cincinnati is what, Mike? They're like 8th now in the AFC, so they're
5 and
still
6. They're a game out of a playoff spot.
Right, they're a game out. They're a game out of the wildcard race. So the way I figure it, there's no way the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to miss a chance to dash the Bengals' hopes. Now the line on this is 5.5. So you figure the Bengals are going to cover that because it's going to come down to the last second, and the Steelers are going to crush the hopes of the Bengals. Steelers.
All right, Matt Andruscavage.
Yeah, I don't really see how Pittsburgh loses this. Historically, I think they play a lot better in Cincinnati than they do in Pittsburgh in this matchup. There's some things that the Bengals can do to hurt the Steelers. Joe Mixon could be a problem for them. Looking at watching the Steelers defense on this past Sunday, they do occasionally have issues, but overall, I think when it comes down to it, they find ways to get it done. Their superstars are able to make the plays. I just don't see really how the Bengals can stop Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell. Antonio Brown did have a really good game the last time they played, so I don't think Pac-Man's going to shut him down this time. And I think they'll get to Andy Dalton and win the game.
Hey, Mike, before you pick this too, the one thing I will say with Pittsburgh's defense is they really do miss Hayden. He's very much a guy that solidified the back end. With that injury right now, you're seeing some communication issues.
But their secondary looks like they did before Hayden got there now, is what you're saying, basically.
Yeah, basically. That the communication issues are a problem. But Hayden was the guy that really came in and solidified all that. So, him being out is causing an issue.
Is your offensive line healthy?
Yes.
Well, see, that's
minus.
Not for long. Bengals will take him out.
What's wrong with that?
They're dirty, man.
The Bengals are dirty?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
How are the Bengals dirty?
How are they not dirty?
Well, give me an instance this year where they were dirty.
A.J. Green punched a guy with a helmet on.
Oh, so it didn't matter that guy is the one that threw the first punch?
No, because he's on the Jaguars.
What's that mean?
It means that he plays for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, and he threw the first punch. So A.J. Green is the thug because he retaliated?
He plays in Cincinnati. They've got a reputation.
A.J. Green
You're
has
known
a
by
reputation.
association, Mike.
A.J. Green
You're known
has
by
a
association,
reputation.
Mike.
Really? Did he get suspended for that?
No, but he should have been.
Why?
He should have been put in the concussion protocol. If you're that stupid to punch him with a helmet on, you probably have gotten hit in the head a few times.
So you believe that hitting
I don't.
somebody
Just
with
move
your
on.
fist
I'm just
in a
being
helmet will give you a concussion?
I don't even know what you said. Just pick this dumb game. Nobody cares.
Why? Is this a Colts game?
No, it's a Bengals game. It's just as bad.
Really? It is? So the Colts are a game out of a playoff spot?
If they had Andrew Luck, they wouldn't have to worry about that. You guys have your team fully loaded. It's a sad thing.
Wait a second. You guys had Andrew Luck last year. You didn't win anything. You didn't make playoffs.
Okay, this is this year.
I know. So what would have made it different? Because your team sucks this year too.
Our defense has gotten a lot better this year.
Yeah, especially that 27-0 game against Jacksonville. That was the first game where your offense and defense all clicked at the same time. I'm going to pick the Pittsburgh Steelers because being a Bengal fan, I'm not stupid. So
okay,
I think this. I think it'll be a close game, and the Bengals will find a way to screw it up. That's what they do. At least I'm honest about my team. Unlike some people. No, you're not. Because you pick your team all the time. There's been 2 weeks where you didn't. There's only been like 2 weeks I remember where you didn't. Okay.
Because you don't have a good memory. You can't even who we picked just recently.
No, I don't have a good memory. So now you want to make fun of me because I can't remember anything? That's kind of cruel.
Yeah, we need to put you in a home, man.
Yeah, it won't be long, and then you'll feel really bad for attacking me like that. Any final words, Brian Schmidt?
Well, not really, other than the fact that I'm looking forward to Monday night. I will say this, that the Grey Cup game Sunday was an outstanding game, and I wasn't really excited about the Pittsburgh game as it went, but I'll tell you the fourth quarter of the Pittsburgh game was really a lot of fun to watch, and it would be nice if more NFL games were like that.
All right. Matt Andruscavage.
Well, there's a number of good games here, but I don't know that we've got tremendous football. I'm hoping down the stretch that we'll have even more good games, but we'll see what happens.
All right. Oz?
Well, with the CFL season over, I guess I'm fully focused on the NFL games. And mostly I just want to say, go Rams.
Alex?
Yeah, I just want to say that it's really nice having Becky on the show with us for the whole time. Becky made this show so much better, and I can't wait till she's the host next week when you get voted off in our first ever game of Survivor.
What's that?
This is going to be great. Becky's going to host it.
What's
And maybe she
Survivor?
can even read the MyBookie AG advertisement for us.
What's Survivor?
All right.
Well, maybe she could just read the ad for the NBA podcast.
I know, because if I don't do it at the very beginning of the show, I'm getting emails. Oh, you're not promoting the show.
Actually, that was a listener that asked why the Grueling Truth wasn't brought up at the start of the show. And I can forward you the email if you want.
That's fine. I did it in the middle.
All right. I wanted my closing comment is this. I want to know if it's all right if I change one of my picks.
Nope, it's already
Oh,
down.
are you kidding? You always diss us when we try this, man.
You
Come
gonna
on.
pick the Bears?
All right. Never mind then.
If it's the
Who are you gonna
Bengals,
pick?
you can do
Nope,
it.
it's all
Otherwise,
right.
no. Otherwise, no. If it's the Bengals,
Nope. It
otherwise,
was
no.
offered. Y'all shot me down. That's all right. Yeah, I was going to change it to the Bengals, but I'm not going to do it now because it wouldn't be fair.
Oh, you
You're
have
right.
to now. It's what you
I
want.
I can't. All right,
Well,
let's do it. I'm
Mike?
switching. I'm taking the Cincinnati Bengals to kick the Pittsburgh Steelers' asses. And I can also tell you this. You want to know why Brian picked Becky? Because Philadelphia Eagle fans aren't obese like most Pittsburgh Steelers fans. And I'm talking about the women, Brian. The women in Pittsburgh, are kind of rough.
Well, they can't be.
All right. I just
Yeah.
wanted to bring that up. So, and I can tell you this. If the Eagles play the Steelers, everybody's cheering for Becky's team.
No, that's not true.
Not me.
Oh, you would cheer for the Steelers?
Yeah, I love Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell and Big Ben. The killer bees, man.
Yeah, so we have the rapist and the pothead and the Bengals are what?
Yeah,
Thank
they
you.
can't even win
Thank
a
you.
football game. They should have beat
Thank
them
you.
last year.
Thank you. All right. Well,
Wait,
we're going to get
Are
off.
we talking?
Well,
I
go
thought we
ahead.
were talking about the Steelers-Eagles Super Bowl, man. I got the ultimate answer for you, who you cheer for in that game. Whoever you've got the most money on, that's who you cheer for in that game. It's easy.
All right. So that is another
Where do
point
you
for
make that bet at?
MyBookie.ag.
MyBookie.ag.
That wasn't as good as
Perfect.
the lead-in that Alex gave me on out of left field, though.
Well, okay, great. Alex is a professional.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap the show up. I want to remind everybody you can hear all of our stuff, our shows on iHeartRadio, iTunes, TuneIn, Spreaker, Stitcher. Wherever you hear sports podcasts, you'll find the Grueling Truth. So, for Alex Golden, Brian Schmidt, Matt Andruscavage, Oz Davis, and, of course, the immortal Becky, I'm Mike Goodpaster. You've been listening to the
I love you,
Grueling
Becky.
Truth, where
You got
the
an
legends
outro?
speak.
Wow.